Well, I have birds chirping. I can hear that. But can you hear me? Can I hear me? Is the question. Oh, I do hear me. All right, we got sound figured out. Yay! Well, I was just really checking to see if I have sound or not. And I do. So, I don't know if I'm going to stay live or not. We'll see if anybody shows up that wants to chat. Who's ever here right now is lurking. But I appreciate you hitting the thumbs up. And there's a really bad glare on the window. So, there's that too. Well, since I have sound, should we listen to the press conference in Illinois with Pritzker? And maybe we'll do that tomorrow. Because there's a really bad glare on the screen. I see it on my end. Well, let's see if I can find the news conference again. Screw it, we'll watch that. Or listen to it. Ooh. Oh my god. I have my side. Get back to where I was. Here it is.
If you take photos on the job and your camera roll looks like this, recent federal agents being deployed to Chicago. Let's listen in.
Afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I hope you can hear
Over the
it.
weekend, we received numerous confirmed reports of federal agents from ICE and Customs and Border Patrol abusing their power, intimidating innocent civilians, and waging war on our people. All of this has been aimed at causing chaos and mayhem in the hopes of creating a pretext to deploy military troops against Chicago and Broadview and other suburbs, just as the president is doing right now in Oregon. Moments ago, the Illinois National Guard received word that the Department of Homeland Security has sent a memo to the Department of War seeking the deployment of 100 military troops to Illinois, claiming a need for the protection of ICE personnel and facilities. What I have been warning of is now being realized. One thing is clear, none of what Trump is doing is making Illinois safer. 2 weeks ago, a man was shot and killed by ICE in Franklin Park, Illinois. Shortly after, ICE issued a statement justifying the killing, saying the federal agent was seriously injured. The Chicago Sun-Times has brought to light that the injuries were, in the agent's own words, nothing major. A man is dead. A community is shaken up. And we are yet again left with more questions than answers. On Saturday, federal agents wreaked havoc on the village of Broadview, a small suburb west of Chicago with 8,000 residents. I want to recognize Broadview Mayor Katrina Thompson, who is here today, and thank her for her strong and vocal leadership on behalf of her community. I also want to thank Broadview's police chief, Thomas Mills, for his steady leadership and partnership with state and surrounding local law enforcement. In Broadview, people nonviolently holding signs and chanting against brutality, expressing their First Amendment rights, have been regularly attacked with chemical agents like tear gas, pepper spray, rubber bullets, and flashbangs. Agents reportedly unholstered their guns and pointed them at protesters. In their own words, ICE intended...
Now, if you are watching Nana's stream over the weekend, I was modding for her. I was there all day modding for her on Saturday. And there was no violence. It was very peaceful the whole time. It was unbelievable how the ICE and all them just let loose later. They caused the problem. They always cause the problem. Back in 2020, people were peaceful. Protests were peaceful. And then the police and the National Guard and all of them decided at whatever time they were going to start attacking people before the disperse order was even given. Or they give the disperse order and they give you 3 minutes for all those people to clear out before they start attacking. It's fucking ridiculous. All right, we'll go back to this. Oh.
To unleash, quote, a shit show in the Broadview community. Without provocation and acting like jackbooted thugs, ICE has attacked and detained members of the press, including an independent journalist. A CBS Chicago correspondent had chemical munitions fired at her car where there were no protesters in sight. And we have received many reports of U.S. citizens being detained for simply stepping onto the public street. That brings us to yesterday. On a beautiful weekend, when families were out enjoying their day in Chicago, armed Border Patrol agents were downtown marching up and down Michigan Avenue, harassing and intimidating residents and tourists. In Millennium Park, Federal agents interrogated a family as their small daughter held onto her doll and appeared to try to translate for her parents. Officers carried large...
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine being a little girl holding onto her doll? They probably just left the American Doll store and were walking down Michigan Avenue and probably were staying at one of the hotels in the South Loop on Michigan Avenue, and in Millennial Park, where all kinds of people are there all the time during the day. And for them just to grab somebody and a little girl holding a doll has to translate? Unbelievable. This is just wild to me. Let's go back.
Unholstered offensive weapons downtown, dressed in camouflage and masks. Building tradesmen near Tribune Tower, simply doing their jobs, were detained by federal agents while working on a construction site. Separately, 24 federal agents chased down a man.
People working. They're taking people work boats. They're blowing these people up. So we do this stuff to go find the bigger fish. These people that they're blowing up are just gophers transporting this stuff. Don't you want the big fish? How are you going to get the big fish if you don't have evidence to go after them? So instead, they're taking people that are working for a living, that are actually paying taxes. Yeah, that makes sense. That's what he said he was going to do, right? Fucking liar.
And asked him for his papers. Meanwhile, ICE's chief offender, Gregory Bovino, has been leading the disruption and causing mayhem while he gleefully poses for photo ops and TikTok videos. Bovino even admitted on the record that they are making arrests based on how you look. Based on how you look. How you look. That's the baseline. They're not targeting violent criminals or gang members. They're arresting tamale vendors and delivery men and shaking down families. Donald Trump and Kristi Noem and Tom Homan said they were targeting
the tent at the detention center on, was it Saturday or Sunday night? When ICE came out, they harassed the tent. They tore the tent up. Why would they do that? Those people weren't doing anything wrong.
Worst of the worst criminals. They lied, and they continue to lie. 60% of the individuals that ICE has taken in Illinois this year have no criminal convictions of any kind. ICE is running around the loop harassing people for not being white. Just a year ago, that was illegal in the United States.
Right?
Now, ICE is making it
that was
commonplace.
illegal.
That's not making America great. In any other country, if federal agents fired upon journalists and protesters when unprovoked, what would we call it? If federal agents marched down busy streets, harassing civilians and demanding their papers,
Exactly.
what would we say?
Exactly. What
I don't
would
think we'd
we
have
do?
any trouble calling it what it is. Authoritarianism. So let's not pretend it's something else when it happens in our American cities.
Exactly.
The MAGA Republican-supported invasion of Portland and Chicago and LA and Washington, D.C. is not making us any safer.
Nope.
Instead, it is putting our people in danger. This is an attack on neighborhoods, on lawful residents, on U.S. citizens. That's not preventing crime as Donald looks safety. But as I've said, about sowing fear and intimidation and division among Americans. It was about creating a pretext to send armed military troops into our community. This is about consolidating power in all of us. When you add to that the Trump administration's effort to label as dangerous free speech critical of him.
Yep, dangerous.
White House senior staff calling the Democratic Party fascist. The Trump-appointed FCC chair threatening to revoke...
He got picked up live, and ICE agents just came up and grabbed me, and gone, just disappeared.
This month, I've been all across the...
Government needs to help. Government needs to help with.
Let the slow encroachment of our freedoms and liberties. And pleased to see that a federal agent...
Hi, Big Chief. We're listening to the press conference in Chicago. DHS in Illinois has requested 100 military personnel to be sent to Illinois. It's bullshit. That's the last thing Chicago needs. And what's there, they're just terrorizing people. They're not doing anything. They're not going after the so-called drug dealers. They're going after people that are working. Construction workers, hotel workers, people that are in the restaurants, people that are paying taxes, people that are doing the right thing, people that are going to their meetings and waiting to fucking for the whole process. What we need are immigration judges, more immigration judges, so the process can move faster. That's the problem. That's what needs to be fixed. And it hasn't been fixed for a long time, and nobody wants to fix it. Everybody just wants to bitch about it. And now look where the fuck we are. Fucking militarizing cities. This is despicable. Every veteran should be up in arms about this shit. This is not what people signed up for.
In New York was put on leave after he was caught throwing a woman to the ground. Good. That would never have happened, though, if it wasn't on camera. So keep documenting. It could make a world of difference for someone, perhaps for all of us. I look forward to taking your questions, and right now I'd like to hand the microphone over to Mayor Brandon Johnson. Mayor.
Thank you, Governor, of course. Thank you, Governor, and good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I'm grateful to all of the elected leaders here,
the glare is gone.
business,
That's
faith leaders
good.
that are joining us today. Many Chicagoans were shocked and appalled to see videos of heavily armed, masked federal agents in our streets yesterday. The reality is that this stunt has nothing to do with public safety. This is about politics, money, and power. The president is using his militarized force the exact way he intended, to advance his political goals. He wants to militarize our cities, whether that's through ICE or through the National Guard or the United States Army.
For no
or
reason.
Armed forces. He wants to provoke conflict so that he can use this as a pretext to send even more federal agents into our city. What we saw yesterday was an absolute disgrace. Families, visitors, everyday Chicagoans were out enjoying our city, and they were met with dozens of heavily armed federal agents aiming to strike fear in our communities. They targeted street vendors and construction workers, just trying to make an honest living. They made a little girl act as a translator as they took her family into custody. These are heartbreaking scenes.
How despicable is that? How despicable. And what, in front of, oh my God. Chicago should be up in arms. Every person in Chicago should be on the streets. That's fucking nuts.
that have nothing to do with me.
And people say, oh, we care about the children. It's all about the children. Save the children. Well, is that saving children? Is that making life better for that child that had absolutely nothing to do with any reason why she's here? Unbelievable. People should be mad as hell.
Making our city safer. My question to these masked, heavily armed individuals is simple. What could you possibly need an automatic weapon for?
Exactly.
The only plausible explanation is that their aim is not to carry out their duties, but instead strike fear in our communities. If you are following the law, if you are in accordance with the Constitution, if you have a criminal warrant, then there is no reason to cover your face. This comes on the heels of the revelation that was reported on MSNBC that Tom Homan, the so-called border czar, accepted a $50,000 bribe from undercover FBI agents in exchange for lucrative detention center contracts. So let's call it what it is. Tom Homan sold out the American people for $50,000 in cash. And that's why I'm calling on the federal government to appoint an independent investigator.
And who are those people? Who are those people that got those contracts? The ones masked? The ones all covered up that we have no idea who the fuck they are? That's not how this country works.
To review every single contract in the city of Chicago, the county and the state related to any ICE detention centers. The people have a right to know if these contracts are legitimate or if they were granted as a result of outright bribery and corruption.
Yes, we do.
As of last week, 72% of those held in ICE detention have no criminal record. And of those with a criminal record, many are for traffic violations and misdemeanors. The Trump administration's detention campaign is not for public safety, it is for profit.
Yep.
More than 90% of the immigration detention centers are run by private and for-profit corporations. The Trump administration has already engaged in no-bid contracts with private prison contractors across the United States. Executives at private prison firms are calling this a gold rush, as their stocks have soared by as much as 80%.
Interesting.
In May, the CEO of a private prison corporation told investors, and this is a quote, truly one of the most exciting periods in the history of the company. One company estimated that they could make as much as $400 million of taxpayer money per year from private detention. Another said that it could make as much as $1 billion in additional revenue. The two largest private prison corporations gave President Donald Trump at least $2.8 million for his re-election campaign. And this is the agency that Trump and Republicans just handed $170 billion, a blank check with little to no oversight.
$170 billion. Imagine what could be done for American citizens with $178 billion. Maybe just that alone would give us health care, all of us in this country. Interesting. And we wouldn't even have to touch the fucking taxes. We wouldn't have to do anything if we just got all that money back that we gave to some private fucking detention center. Owned group, whatever the fuck it's called. 178 billion, that's with the B, billion dollars. That's unbelievable. Back to where we were.
The money that Republicans gave to ICE is more, there's more funding given to ICE in this last budget that has been allocated for police departments at state and local governments in all 50 states, including the District of Columbia combined. Let me say that again. Trump gave his personal militarized force more money than all other local and state police funding combined. And the guy they put in charge of that funding was bought for $50,000 in cash. They are lining their own pockets and the pockets of the executives of small number corporations, to a small number of corporations. I've spoken with parents in Pilsen, Little Village, spoken to business owners on Devon Street, elders in Uptown, who are too scared to take their children to school. We're losing business, and they're too afraid to even attend church because of their legal status. They're afraid of the reckless actions that they have seen. This is not being tough or patriotic. To throw a crying mother to the floor who just wanted to be reunited with her children, it's abominable. It's not law and order to body slam a 79-year-old business owner, an American citizen, for trying to produce the papers of his employees.
Wow.
And there's nothing brave about firing
Wow. They body slammed a 79-year-old businessman, because he was trying to get his work papers, the VH or V1, whatever the fuck they're called, papers that employers have to get for their employees that are working there. Wow. Unbelievable.
Bullets and with chemical agents at a Chicago CBS reporter for simply showing up to do her job. Greg Bovino, who spends countless taxpayer dollars on TikTok videos of himself, was in charge of the operation in Los Angeles, where a 15-year-old kid, an American citizen with disabilities, was handcuffed and held at gunpoint by ICE. His family is now suing. By the time this is over, there will be hundreds of millions of dollars of taxpayer dollars wasted in settlements related to the excessive use of force and the unconstitutional actions of this administration. So again, let's make this very clear. This is not about public safety. This is not even about immigration.
Nope.
This is the continuation of the Trump administration's war on the poor.
Yep.
They have cut food assistance. They have cut Medicaid. They have cut violence prevention funding.
They don't give a fuck about any of us.
And more dangerous for poor and working people across this country. They have declared war on poor on behalf of the ultra-rich. And so they can simply funnel our tax dollars to a small handful of billionaires. So we have to make sure that we continue to show our support for the people of this city and for this country. In closing, at a time when we are cutting hundreds of millions of dollars from healthcare, public health, housing, and defunding public education, manufacturing austerity, I'll say that plainly, the Trump administration is worsening poverty at the same time as declaring war on the poor. This is an untrustworthy, corrupt, and out-of-control administration that is doing everything in their power to foment chaos in our cities. Whether it's in Portland, Los Angeles, or Chicago, we cannot accept the militarization of our cities. We will continue to stand united as a city, as a county, as a state, and local villages to reject any attempts to militarize our cities. I want to be very clear. What we saw this Sunday is not unique. As the governor has indicated, this is happening in villages like Broadview and other places across this country. And so we have to make sure that this is not the last time we express our unified voice to ensure that we protect the interests of all people. And with that, I will turn it over to our Attorney General, Kwame Raoul.
So who was just speaking was the mayor of Chicago, Brandon something. I can't remember the last name at the moment. I don't know how much more. Do you want to keep listening to this, whoever's in here with me? Or are you just watching? Have the sound turned down. But there was no reason for the escalation that took place in Broadview on Saturday or Sunday. Definitely not Sunday. I'm so glad Nana got out of there early. When that car came down the street, I knew something wasn't right. And then the ICE agents came out, and I was like, oh, no, time for you to go. And she said it before I even was like, you gotta go, Nana. They're up to something. So if any of you guys want to watch what's going on at the Broadview detention, the ICE detention center in Chicago, well, outside Chicago in Broadview, Illinois, Where is Nana? We'll be there on Wednesday. Let me see if I can find her link and drop it in there for you guys. If you want to come join her and see what's going on for your own eyes. It was peaceful. There was no reason for them to do what they did. And if they can't handle a couple people yelling at them, they shouldn't be ICE agents or police or any of that. So now you have somewhere you can come see with your own eyes what's going on at the detention center outside Chicago. Well, this was just really a sound check to see if my sound was working or not, because this morning it was not. And I got my sound back. So, I don't really want to keep listening to the conference. If you guys do, I can play it a little longer. But I was, I heard who I wanted to hear talk. No? No answers? Well, thank you for whoever you are that's been lurking this whole time. Big Chief, I don't know if you're still in here, but thank you for always stopping by. So, I want to wish everyone a wonderful evening. Peace and love to all of you out there. Be kind. It's free. Don't be an asshole. Because there's way, way too many of them. And just be kind. We need kind people in the world. Oh, hi, Patty. I was just about to end. I was listening to the news conference in Chicago about the ICE being there and them roaming the streets and what they've been doing. But I heard the mayor talk and I heard the governor talk, and I don't really want to listen to the other people. So, but I didn't have sound this morning. Well, I had sound when I started, and then the sound went away. And I froze. So it was just bad all the way around. So this was really just a sound check. Now hopefully I still do have sound. Hopefully you guys haven't just been sitting here listening to nothing. Oh, I do. I put my earbud in so I can hear myself again. So, yeah, but I have sound, so that's a good thing. I can have coffee with you guys in the morning again, 'cause I think the birds are coming back. And Mr. Fuzzy's going crazy. He's ran like a path in the grass from the tree to the bird feeder. Well, I'll finish my joint with you. The glare's gone, so that's good. Good hearing. Oh, were you listening, Patty? Do you want me to finish it? Did I see the guy scooted away from the agents on the electric fold-up bike? No, I didn't see that. Where's that at? Today in Chicago? No, I didn't. I haven't been watching anything today. I was busy all day doing stuff. That's why I was watching the conference, the press conference. I got back in the house and I was like, oh, wow. He had a conference today? Oh, God, what happened? Yeah, the sound earlier was really bad. It went out completely. My first live froze. And then I ended that live, and I came back, and I had no sound. Oh, Big Chief, you are still here. Maybe we'll finish the conference later. Oh, do you see Mr. Fuzzy? You see he's digging a hole. Do you see that? I don't know what he's doing. I went out there and looked, and there is nothing in the hole. I wonder, so a couple of days I found, or one day, 2 days in a row actually, I found grass in one of those little purple things, not the big silver one, but the little feeders. I found grass, and I didn't know who was doing it. I wonder if it's Mr. Fuzzy doing it. See, he's like balling up something. I don't know what he's doing. Oh, Poopsicle was on late last night. Ugh, yuck. I can't watch him anymore. He's so icky. All of it's just icky. The whole shit show's icky to me. It was so nice. I took a break from it, and to come back and just be like, oh my God, same shit, new day. And it's been the same shit, new day for the last how many years now? There's a t-shirt on YouTube, Ice looks like dummies. Yes, they do. They all look like dummies. Because they're not doing anything. They're not... They're agitators. That's what it is. The ICE agents are agitators. Yep. I don't know. The whole world is a bunch of dum-dums running around. Like, I just see a bunch of lollipops with a stick up their ass. A bunch of idiots. Ugh. I just can't with people. And it's funny too, you know, some alts have disappeared and you don't see them running around these streets anymore. And then there's new alts that have come around and they're running around these streets all over the place. And they're, oh, I've been doing my research. Have you been doing your research? Or have you just been here? It's all a game. It's so fucked up. At least in Poopsicle's world. And then there's other people that take it into real life, and it's like, why? Why do you do that? Did you get pleasure and find that funny and cute? Like, there's something wrong with you. And everybody says the same thing. And everybody's doing the same thing. And then there's just people that got caught up in the mess. Well, I got a couple more minutes. And then at least I'll have hit an hour. This is my third live for the day, so I'm really surprised. People, you're here. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Oh, maybe I'm gonna turn the birds back on. In the morning, we'll finish the news conference. The sun's just soon gonna be below the trees, and it's gonna start to get dark. And I want to end before it gets all shadowy. Well, there's at least some sun left. So, peace and love to all of you that matter. Be kind. It's free. Don't lie. Don't be an asshole. Too many liars and too many assholes. Oh! Masad, you show up right as I'm ending. I fixed it. I got sound back. What about problems? What happened, Patty? Oh, ice. Ice brings problems. Yes, ice brings problems. Exactly. I'm so glad you understand. We need to fight against this. Well, I have that problem too sometimes. I like ice that melts, and we need to melt here out. 70. They threw down because he was trying to find the paperwork for his employees. What the fuck? Unbelievable. Am I buffering, really? Oh. You didn't hear any of that. I'm back. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yep, it's starting to buffer. Oh my God, I'm gone again. No, I'm back. Yep, time to go. See? I've been on too long. You know, the orange guy doesn't like me talking about him. See? They take my voice away when I start. Because I make sense. I'm able to bring the people together. We're going to bring both sides together, and we're not going to let ICE take over our cities. This is, it's bad. All right. Yep. Yep. We need to make the orange. Nope. Ooh, I caught myself. I was gonna say something very bad. So everyone have a wonderful night. We're gonna end now. Peace and love to all of you. Be kind. It's free. Don't be an asshole. And don't lie. Because liars are assholes and assholes are liars. So don't be either one of them. Because then you're both. And I really don't like you. So, have a good night. I will see you all tomorrow. I'm going to go live in the morning. Bye.